How's it going, everyone? We've made a lot of mention about how a lot of new games have been added to PlayStation Plus with the monthly extra and premium catalog rolling, and some very high-key titles, some very good games have been added. However, as is the case with any subscription service, some games have rotated out, and I want to give you guys a heads up on the 19 games that have left PlayStation Plus. So a little bit of a bummer. I need to get, ahead of the curve on this and let you guys know about this before it actually happens, but we'll talk all about that. And we have some updates on a couple PlayStation 5 titles. SpiderMan 2, a little bit of an update on that, and Alan Wake 2. Looks like we have an idea of how lengthy that game is going to be. More insight on that at the end of this video. But first of all, PlayStation Plus Extra and PlayStation Plus Premium have lost in total 19 titles, so let's go over all of them. Little Nightmares, Party Hard, 9 Monkeys of Shaolin, Ash of God's Redemption, Fire Pro Wrestling World, Black Mirror, Witchwood, John Wick's Hex, Kiwi, No Straight Roads, Defense Grid 2, Joe Dever's Lone Wolf, Agents of Mayhem, Gods Will Fall, Red Faction 1 and 2, which those were Plus Premium games, and then Redeemer Enhanced Edition have all left PlayStation Plus Extra. An unfortunate reality when it comes to PlayStation Plus, but this is something that happens with every subscription service. If you guys don't know, how the deals are usually worked out is Sony signs a deal with a publisher, a developer, whoever's in charge of handling that game's rights to bring the game onto the service for a set period of time, and Sony will pay X amount of dollars. Sometimes that deal is constructed in different ways. They'll pay X amount of dollars up front, or they'll pay a certain amount of money depending on how many downloads, etc., that a game is received. I don't know exactly the inner workings on that. And then generally speaking, once a deal expires, they come back to the table and then they decide on whether or not they want to renew that deal. Usually, if you're renewing a deal, it might be for an elevated amount of money, or if you go your separate ways, the game will still be available on the PlayStation Store. You guys get the idea. Now, it's different with first-party games because those are games that Sony has the rights to, so there's no expiring agreement on that outside of the element of Sony decides that they want to release a game like Spider-Man Remastered and they can make money off of that, so goodbye Spider-Man on PS4 on PlayStation Plus, because that's the only reason that game got pulled. Obviously, Sony's not going to be upfront and tell you that, so that's a little bit of a bummer, but yeah, when it comes to a subscription service, that is the reality. But at the very least, with Plus Extra this month, you got a lot of high-quality titles taking the place of the aforementioned games leaving. You're talking about games like Deus Ex Mankind Divided, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, Inscription, Killing Floor 2, Solstice, which just got a PS4 version as well, Elix 2, Talos Principle, you've got A Hat in Time, you've got Tacoma, Far Cry 6, Rogue Legacy 2, which was a Day 1 release, so definitely a lot of great games were added to PlayStation Plus as well. But as always, games will be leaving the service, and as games do leave the service, we'll try to do a better job of letting you guys know before the games actually leave the service instead of, days after when the game is gone. And also, another thing to note, because I keep seeing this when it comes to games leaving PlayStation Plus Extra, Plus Extra is different than Plus Essential. With Plus Essential, when you redeem a game, it is added to your library, and then you are able to play that game as long as you're a Plus subscriber. It's not just that game is available for that month, it's available to redeem for that month, but as long as you're a Plus subscriber, it'll be retained into your library. But once your Plus subscription ends, you'll have to resubscribe if you want access to those games. However, with Plus Extra, it's a rotating library of games, so once games leave, it doesn't matter if you already started playing that game, it doesn't matter if you have that game downloaded, no, it is gone from the library, and if you do want to play it, either it needs to return to the service or you need to go to the PlayStation Store and buy it. Even if you do have it downloaded, the game will be locked out and you won't be able to play it. So just to give you guys a heads up on that as well. Alright, moving on from the negative Plus news. This is kind of negative news, but Spider-Man 2 is getting a digital deluxe edition, and with that you will get a few suits. You'll get 10 suits that are exclusive to the digital deluxe edition, 5 for Miles and 5 for Peter, and Insomniac Games did note that these suits are exclusive to the digital deluxe edition, so they will not be unlockable in-game. So that's a little bit of a bummer. Like, I always think that in-game cosmetics and things like that, when you're spending $70 on a game, it'd be nice if you just have everything right out the gate. It's 5 suits for Peter, 5 suits for Miles. At the end of the day, it is just suits. It's not going to be, the end of the world, but it would be nice if those were still redeemable through the base game. But at the same time, if they were redeemable through the base game, who at that point would buy the digital deluxe edition? Would it really be worthwhile? to pick it up at that point. Spider-Man 2 is going to do gargantuan sales numbers regardless. I imagine that this is a game where a lot of people are just going to end up buying the digital deluxe edition, and you know, it's a game that's going to do very, very healthy sales numbers. It's really going to be one of those big system sellers for Sony and the PlayStation 5 in the fall. I know they have Final Fantasy 16 for now, but when you're talking about Spider-Man 2 over here in the West, it is a different ball game when you're talking about as big of an IP as Spider-Man. You look at how some of the Spider-Man properties from a movie standpoint have done, how Spider-Man 2018 sold on the PlayStation 4. Yeah, Spider-Man 2 is going to do gargantuan numbers, and I'm incredibly excited about the game. You know, the release isn't even that far away. 4 months from now, that'll be here before you know it, October 20th, and hopefully they do hit that release, and I'm kind of confident that Insomniac is one of those studios that doesn't really delay their game, so you know, over 5 years since Spider-Man 2018 came out, we're getting Spider-Man 2, and man, it's just kind of wild how long we have to wait for these subsequent entries in games. You guys remember back in the late 2000s, early 2010s, where it was 2 years between games after Mass Effect? We got Mass Effect 2 in 2 years, we got Mass Effect 3 in 2 years. Now it's 5 years between games, but as a lot of developers have noted, that window is probably only going to increase instead of get shorter, but I hope at some point it does get shorter. I don't know what they have to do, if they need to go the Nintendo route of prioritizing, you know, gameplay aspects of the game or whatever they gotta do, but I just don't know if these 5 to 6 year development cycles for these games is gonna be something sustainable for the long term, because you're talking about, you know, Spider-Man 2018, when was that revealed? Like 2016, and you're talking about, let's say Spider-Man is a trilogy, the trilogy probably not ending until 2028, 2029, 12 to 13 years of, you know, being in tune with the Spider-Man video game franchise, but it's just something to consider. I get it, these games are gargantuan undertakings, they're massive scale projects, and it's understandable why they do take a long time. Speaking of which, you know a franchise we had to wait a long time to see a sequel? Alan Wake. But Alan Wake 2 will finally be coming out October as well. Say goodnight to our wallets in the month of October as well. Man, if you have a Switch as well, oh boy, are you going to be picking up a lot of games. And it was noted with the 2 intertwined campaigns, can you discuss roughly how long Alan Wake 2 will take to complete? And he noted, it depends on your skills, but currently, and the game is not quite done yet because a lot of the content is still going on, we're looking at over 20 hours. Now, 20 hours is on current content. There is also DLC content and everything like that, so that number is going to fluctuate. But 20 hours for Alan Wake 2 is pretty sizable, considering Alan Wake 1 was a fairly short game, and I remember that was one of the talking points when Alan Wake 1 initially came out, was that it was a $60 game, it was a fairly short game, and not a lot of people checked it out. I think Alan Wake 2 is going to do a lot better than Alan Wake 1, but you also have to take into the fact that Alan Wake 2 is a digital-only release, and I am curious on how that's going to be received in a larger scale of the game only seeing a digital release. I think, you know, a lot of people are just buying games digitally these days, so I don't think that's going to hamper sales too much, but this is the first time we've seen a big budget AAA game like this only see a digital release, especially like a new game like this. Like, when do you see digital only releases for games? It's very few and far between for big games like this, and Alan Wake 2 is kind of the first of its kind, but it is kind of an omen of things to come. You know, more and more games are going to go the digital only route, but I wasn't expecting it this early on. But that is going to do it for me. Again, 19 games have left PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium. New games have rotated in, so you have a bevy of new stuff to check out. The Digital Deluxe Edition suits for Spider-Man 2 will not be unlockable through the base game, so if you want them, buy the Digital Deluxe Edition. There will be an upgrade path that you will be able to buy if you just buy the base game, and Alan Wake 2 is said to be around 20 hours long. That's going to do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.